you guys have asked, and I will deliver. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Trench Grenade channel. This video will serve as the State of the World / State of the Union update video for 7 April 2025. Let me know in the comments down below if you'd rather this series be titled State of the World or State of the Union. Comment that down below, and we're going to get right into it. Now, as you guys know, if you've been around the channel for a little bit, everything I'm about to read is going to be 99.9% fact from the news. Now, if I'm going to give my opinion on a certain topic or subject, I'll give you, hey, this is just my opinion on this, but this is basically going to be the facts as they present themselves. So let's get right into it. First and foremost, the rumors about a 90-day pause, that President Trump was going to have a 90-day pause on the tariffs that have been announced and enacted last Friday, that is all rumor. The mainstream media has announced these misinformation that President Trump will basically execute a 90-day pause on all the tariffs that he announced last Friday. That is misinformation. That was in an effort to subvert President Trump's guidance and thus keep the market more stable. So if you hear any rumors or misinformation about a 90-day pause on the tariffs, that is in fact misinformation, so ignore that. The global market has been shook. Okay, just like a lot of you guys, when you get to the flat range and you miss that C-zone target, the global market is shook. Japan's market has crashed upon opening today, as well as Taiwan and South Korea's. As you guys know, last Friday, the United States market took a massive decline. Now, some things to note. The United States has placed a flat tariff on China at 50%. And then an additional one at 20%, and then an additional one potentially at 40%. Due to a reciprocal tariff at 34% being announced by China. What does this mean for you guys? This means that your Amazon order could be 104% more expensive if any of those products are coming from China from now to the next 6 months. That's a big deal. So if everything that I just laid out actually comes to fruition, you could be looking at 104% uptake in everything made from China due to these tariffs, due to them basically fighting back against Trump's announcement and them not playing ball with the things that we have announced. Now, keep in mind, China has, I believe, the second largest economy in the world, but they live paycheck to paycheck. So they do require the United States to pay for the goods that they sell us. However, they can't afford, obviously, to just pay the 34%, or at least they don't think they can. So that is what is leading to this. That we announced 30%, they announced 34%, and back and forth, thus potentially leading us to 104% tax on Chinese goods and services. Moving on. Mass stabbing occurred over the weekend in Brooklyn, New York, resulting in 4 children being stabbed. The attacker was destroyed by the police, or however you want to politically correct title that. He was killed by the police. Okay. Now, that is just something to keep in mind for a story we're going to talk about later when it comes to the Trump administration saying that they're going to help the average gun owner here in the United States, which they have not done yet so far, but we're going to get into that story here in a little bit. But just keep in mind, there's been a lot of mass stabbing incidents occurring in the United States, and one of them occurring in Brooklyn over the weekend. Moving on, measles is a thing. There's a measles outbreak in Texas. If you didn't have that on your bingo card, go ahead and comment down below. Trench, I did not have the measles on my bingo card. But yes, the measles outbreak is happening in Texas, resulting in 2 fatalities thus far, and the CDC has been deployed to Texas. So keep your eyes on the next big infectious disease that'll cause everyone to have to cancel their gym membership and not be able to go out in public again. We'll see if it works the second time, but that is just the news as I see it. Number 4, the FBI director promotes Stephen Jensen to head the Washington field office. Now, if you don't know who Stephen Jensen is, he's one of the guys that helped this whole January 6th thing, and not for the January 6th crowd against it. Okay, so just keep in mind who the Trump administration and Kash Patel and the FBI director, who they are putting in positions of power. So Stephen Jensen being placed in a position of authority to head the Washington field office, that is something that should be on the top of your watch list here moving forward. All right, we're going to transition now to some other news. The Epstein client list. The Epstein client list has still not been released. Now, if you remember, looking back at the Trump administration, he said the first day, and I quote, maybe the first week, we would know about the JFK files, we would know about the Epstein client list. I'm just bringing it to your radar that we still don't know anything about the Epstein client list. We don't know who was on the island. We don't know who was in the planes. We don't know, okay? So that should just be reminded that Epstein probably did not kill himself, and we still don't have the client list. So just a friendly reminder there. Zelensky. Okay, President Zelensky, there will be no peace in Ukraine. This is what Putin is saying, unless Zelensky steps down, because President Putin does not view President Zelensky as the rightful president of Ukraine. So he says there will be no peace deal while Zelensky is still in power. That's a problem for your tax dollars, my tax dollars. That's a problem for all of Europe as well. So just keep that in mind, that while Zelensky is still acting president, Putin will not make a peace deal. Israeli Prime Minister visits the United States today and tomorrow. Now, regardless of your opinions on the Israeli conflict, when we have a mental health crisis, a veteran homeless crisis, a homeless crisis in general here in the United States, and we're continuing to give billions of dollars to Israel, I'll just let you use your own opinion based down in the comments below. But just keep in mind, we have our own issues here in the United States. And as the Israeli Prime Minister is visiting and meeting with President Trump in the Oval Office and talking about different issues that are happening in Israel, just keep in mind, while all that's happening right now, we have a major economic crisis happening here in the United States, where people my age, right, in their 30s, they can't even buy a freaking house, right? They can't even put food on the table consistently and reliably, and they're working 40 to 50 hours a week. So you need to keep all these things in mind as these negotiations and discussions are happening in the White House with our leaders. You need to keep in mind what's happening at the dinner table, right? And in the gas tank, and people being able to pay rent, etc. Okay, so the fact of the matter is, Israeli Prime Minister visits. Okay, we have a minimum of 6 bombers. The United States has a minimum of 6 stealth bombers staged to be able to, in theory, strike Iran. That is something that should be on your radar, because if we go to war with Iran, or if we were to go to war with Iran or conduct a major strike in Iran, we would stage bombers where they are right now at a covert CIA base. So up to 6 bombers have been allegedly, even though there's unclassified aerial footage showing the bombers staged, bombers have been moved that would not normally be moved within range to bomb Iran. That has never happened before, and that should be on your radar. Seems like there's a lot of things that should be on your radar. Yeah, there is. It's a rough time in the world right now. Again, vote in the comments. State of the world or State of the Union? I'm up in the air myself on it. All right, moving on. The tariff gambling game. So all you need to know is this will either, with the tariffs, right? President Trump is either going to go down in history as the best gambling man in the world, and he won the greatest economic gamble in modern American history, or we will all be very, very poor and very broke, and all of your investments will be a waste of time. And you're not going to be able to go to the range very often or hang out with the boys, and you're going to be working because you're not going to have any money, and all your investments will be gone. So just keep in mind that this tariff it's the tariff gambling game. So what I'm going to coin it as, right? It'll either be the greatest gamble in the world or the worst gamble. Okay, two things I want to leave you with. The Snow White, politically correct Snow White film, yeah, it flopped, and it flopped hard. So hopefully the era of politically correct wokeism is over, because with the Snow White film flopping so hard and nobody going to the box office to watch it, hopefully that is an end of an era, a signal of an end of an era. Because I don't know about you, but the politically correct Avengers movies, they're just not it, right? So for the Snow White film to flop so hard, I believe it's a sign of good things to come, at least for the film industry, right? Last thing I'll leave you with, 60% prediction that the United States economy will enter a recession and collapse. 60%. That is, I'm drawing a blank on the CEO's name. Okay, you guys will have to Google it after this. Just type in CEO 60% prediction of a recession in the United States. That's a major problem. So I don't want to scare you guys. I just want to bring that to your attention, right? Make sure you have enough food on hand. I would say 3 to 4 months of food on hand. Make sure you have enough ammunition, fuel, to be able to, keep your car at 3/4 tank at all times. Make sure you have enough ammunition to defend yourself. If you haven't purchased that rifle that you've been planning on purchasing, now might be a good time. If you were planning on going on a crazy vacation or going out to a crazy dinner that's going to blow $200 or $300 for you and the family, maybe instead try to just do a family movie night, something like that, and put those finances elsewhere, right? But 60% prediction for a United States recession. Okay, if you guys enjoy these State of the World or State of the Union videos, make sure you hit the like button, share it with a buddy. My goal right now is to get to 40,000 subscribers, so thank you for making sure you're actually subscribed. Let me know what your biggest concerns are down in the comments below. And until next time, it's going to be Trench Grenade. I don't know what to leave you with. Trench Grenade, a very concerned fake YouTuber that your mom said that we have at home, signing out. Cheers.